Sam, I say
All
we
right.
go ahead and kick it off.
Okay. All right. Hey, everyone. Thanks for joining. So this is the Veterans Advocacy Tableau user group. So here's the agenda. We're going to start with introductions, go over the mission, do a Vet2Viz story. Then our guest speaker, Strouse, will be presenting. And then we're going to go into how can we better serve, and then closing remarks and open discussion. There's going to be other things mixed into there as well. So I apologize for those who were here last time. We're just going to go over some brief introductions. I'm Tim Blaisdell. I'm one of the co-founders. Started this a couple of years ago. I work for the FAA's Office of Commercial Space Transportation, and I was in the active Air Force for 4 years, and then 6 years in the Air National Guard with Massachusetts and Maryland. Ethan, do you want to talk about yourself for a second?
Yeah, sorry, I had to find the mute button. Yeah, I'm currently the Senior Manager of Analytics Engineering at Playfair Data. We're an analytics consulting firm, so we work with companies all over the world, really, and help them kind of find insight and take action on their data. I did 3 years active duty in the Army, and 1 deployment to Iraq in 2011 in support of Operation New Dawn. Lou?
Yeah, hi everybody. Thanks for joining us. Lou Luangzai, so former Marine aviation. So currently right now I am a product manager with Wells Fargo. So happy to connect in LinkedIn with everybody here. And I look forward to speaking with each and every one of you.
And then, yeah, well, making his debut, Abe joined us, joined the leadership team. So Abe, you want to talk about yourself for a little bit?
Yeah. Well, I go on for all day, but I'll just give a couple minutes. So I myself, like Lou, am a former Marine. I did supply chain and recruiting. Right now I'm working at my school at Nova Southeastern University as a financial analyst in my last semester of my MBA, so it'll be done in December. And then I'm just, upskilling in Tableau, Power BI, Excel. Yeah, excited to be here and, help out and kind of, show veterans all the good stuff that we got going on here.
Okay. And then also, so if you are interested in joining the team, then let us know. We're constantly looking for good people to help out in whatever capacity that you can. So just reach out to us. All right. So our mission. So we serve veterans, service members, and advocates, providing networking, focusing our efforts on projects that benefit the veteran community. So originally, when we started this, we were just going to be like any tug. You come in here, you learn about Tableau. But as time went on, we wanted to be a little bit special. So what we did, we decided to do focus on veteran-centric things, have veteran centric speaking topics from time to time, and then also we're going, I don't know if it's on the next slide. Yeah, so we want to do quarterly challenges that help spread awareness for veterans issues. So it's maybe working with a veteran nonprofit or something, and that'll be kind of like a side project that anyone can help out with. And then also to mentor, if you wanted to find a mentor through this group, reach out to one of us. And then of course, networking opportunities. And then our vision is to have like a website where we're going to post job boards and things like that. So getting ahead of myself. So this is what we call Vet2Viz story. So what we want to do is, we want to have somebody volunteer to kind of talk about themselves, about how they transitioned from the military and how they got into data. And if you're not a veteran, because like the name of the tug suggests, we're a veterans advocacy group. So anybody who really cares about veterans can come into the tug and help out with our mission. So so I think Ethan, one of our co-leads, was going to volunteer first to tell his story, and then perhaps if anybody else wanted to jump in and tell their story.
Yeah, definitely. I'll kick us off. And yeah, like Tim said, once I finish telling my sob story, anybody else can jump in and just, give us your story. We did this last time. It went really well. It's one of my favorite parts of this. But like Tim said, I'm Ethan. I kind of started my career like many of us. I didn't know what the hell I wanted to do when I got out of high school. So I joined the military as an MP in the Army. I quickly found out that I did not want to take a career in law enforcement. So when I got out, I used the GI Bill, and I went to Kansas University to do computer science. And I got in there and realized, man, I really don't like calculus 3. This is tough stuff. So I talked to my counselor, and he was like, hey, you like programming, right? And he's like, there's this new field called data. If you want to get into that, it might be something you're interested in. So I switched my major to business analytics and was blown away. I haven't looked back since. So I've done data science work, data analytics, Tableau, obviously. But where I kicked off my kind of career in the industry, I started as a data analyst, and then just started applying, what I had learned in college with statistics and everything else to everything I was doing to find insight. And it quickly grew my career. I went from a data analyst to senior data analyst. Then got hired on as a data scientist and promoted to data manager. And now where I'm at today, senior manager of analytics engineering, where I'm actually doing all of the data work for the Tableau engineering side, data visualization, as well as data science. So I'm kind of the lead on that team. But that's my story and how I kind of jumped in, started with college. Here I am. Anybody else want to share? Oh, Albert, you posted in the chat. You got to jump in now and talk.
Really? Can you guys hear me okay?
Yep.
All right, this computer's kind of hit or miss. Yeah, so I always, people ask me about my story about how I got into data or how I joined the Marine Corps or really how I did anything. I'm like, man, how much time you got? So yeah, I went to college originally. That was a terrible mistake. I wound up wasting a whole lot of time and money, and then dropped out and enlisted in the Marine Corps. And it just always, like, the classes that always resonated with me, my stops along the way where I, wound up getting a degree just shy of the age of 30 was all the data stuff. So like product and operations management and accounting, strangely enough, and all that sort of thing. So yeah, my path to getting a degree, becoming an officer was super weird and total waste of time to talk about here. But anyway, I wound up getting a bachelor's degree in economics. And then years later, I got a chance to go to the non-resident naval postgraduate school through the Marine Corps and got an operations research degree. So, and I just, at the time I didn't know what to do with it. I just knew it was the subject that had always interested me. And it was like, well, free master's degree, let's do that. And so then when my career path in the Marine Corps wasn't going to take me to anything that would have allowed me to use that. And then, some other things, deployments and whatnot happened. And I was like, well, this ain't for me anymore. So I'm in the process of retiring and transferring into non-uniform data analytics, which is awesome. And Abe Diaz talked me into coming here tonight. So if I do anything stupid, it's on him.
Well, we appreciate you being here for sure.
Yeah.
Well, everybody blaming us.
Yeah. Anyone else want to share?
Yeah, I'll jump in too, since we're on this whole topic on getting catfished by Abe.
Uh-huh.
So my name's Matt Chumworth. also a Marine. Looks like we got a stacked house again with Marines, which is pretty typical for anything I go to. So glad to be around my brothers and sisters, if any of them are out there as well. But joined the Marines right out of high school, thought it was going to be a career. After a couple deployments, reconsidered. So ended up going to college. I really like the leadership side of the military. So I thought there was an opportunity to actually go and teach. I thought it'd be a great career. Tried that for a lot less time in the Marine Corps and wanted to pivot again. And really that decision was really based upon getting to higher education. This was 2009, right when that post 9/11 GI Bill came out, and there was no one really there to support. So I thought that was kind of messed up that, you get to the university level and there wasn't nothing there for veterans, especially the amount of us that were getting out of the military and using those benefits, that I ended up pursuing a degree to work at a higher education institution, hopefully in the veteran affairs area. So that's what the role is that I'm in now. I'm the director down at Nova Southeastern University. So I work a lot with veterans, military affiliated, which also includes dependent spouses, people that want to join the military. And really the data side of it is more my path of that being something that I really related a lot to just math, that kind of standard stuff they teach you in high school. Hey, memorize this formula. Now you got to be able to do it. And it was really a misnomer for how much is out there and how much that data can actually tell a story, especially when I have to battle for budgetal issues year in and year out. I have to paint a picture, not just provide a narrative. And that's been helpful for me. And just kind of meeting Abe and learning more about Tableau and other databases that are out there that can really help that and visualize that and do it in a way that's able to justify the story, not only of myself, but our students going through, provides more support on the long end to be able to help people as they're going through that process.
That's awesome. Thanks for sharing, Matt. Anyone else?
Yeah, I can hop in here. So like the rest of us, I too was recruited by Abe.
Oh, what the-
And
Abe. Oh,
I,
Abe's guys here.
I was also a Marine. I spent 8 years in the Marine Corps. Nothing special there. And I got out and I knew I needed to go to college and use that wonderful GI Bill. So I got my undergrad in psychology. And then I graduated last June, right in the middle of the pandemic. So good luck finding a job with a bachelor's degree in psychology.
Right.
Turns out the business school was offering the master's in business analytics program to be completed in 11 months. And my GI Bill would cover all of it. So I finished that up next Friday.
Cool.
That's what
Congratulations.
Thanks.
Awesome. All right, anyone else going once?
Yeah, I haven't talked, so I might as well
Sure.
introduce myself.
Yeah, go ahead.
I've met a lot of you before, and nice to see you, Al. We've been kind of trailing each other on LinkedIn for a while, but my name's Scott Forbes. Recently retired from the Army as of 30 June after 24 years and 8 months. So I'm an anomaly here, being one of the Army guys, but I was tasked out to the Marines in Afghanistan providing medevac support back in 2010, 2011. So I respect everything you Marines have done for me, keeping me alive while I was saving your lives. My story is kind of full circle. I went to university before I came into the military, got a degree in economics back in 1994. We weren't even really talking about this data analytics kind of stuff. Al can probably attest to that. Came in originally enlisted as an intel analyst after college and then found out about this Army flight school program. So I flew for a bunch of years, had a great time doing it, but I realized in my retirement, I want a less stressful, less intense, less risky job. So I've come back to data analytics, working for Verizon for the maintenance engineering lab, which is based out of Westlake, Texas. I find myself probably data analytics is maybe 1/4 of my week. A lot of my other jobs is managing Confluence and Youre software for a lot of the projects we have going on. Every once in a while, I get to dip into Tableau and have fun with that. So trying to get smarter off of you all.
Very cool. All right, welcome.
Thanks.
All right, anyone else? Don't feel any pressure. I mean, there's other meetings. Yeah. Are you raising your hands, Christine? Yeah. Go ahead, Christine.
Yeah, Well, data analytics, it's a pretty new field. It's only 10 years old from what I understand. And I know it's hard to believe, but I got out of the Army 30 years ago. It's true, 1991.
Wow.
So I got my degree in sociology, believe it or not, in 1994 from Northern Illinois University.
Mhm.
And I first started, believe it or not, doing data analytics. We learned SQL a little bit just to get the variables from the General Social Survey into a SAS program, statistical analysis SAS program, and it was all text. But I forgot all that. And then I almost got a master's degree in sociology, but it didn't work out. I had some issues. And then in 2000, I had a kid. And then 2015, I went back to school and I got a degree in criminal and social justice. And then I tried to get a PhD in psychology, but it didn't work out. And I mean, I'm ABD, but what happened was I wrote a qualitative dissertation instead of a quantitative one. So if that ever happens again, I know what to do, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen again. So I have all these skills and, how to work with data, but, I was like, data analytics, what is it? So I'm still trying to figure out what data analytics is. But as far as social science goes, I feel confident with that. I feel confident doing an analysis of variance, and talking about research methodology, but data science is really different because I don't think you guys have the norms that govern, research the way social science does. It's much stricter to do research, to publish research, and to say something in social science than it is in data science.
Yeah.
So that's what I'll say, but yeah, it's been a crazy ride. I hope to make it in data science. I've done accounting for over 15 years. I'm a member of the VFW, life member. So I've been their accountant for about at different posts for like 9 years, 8 years at one post, 1 year at another post, doing all the accounting. So
Cool.
data analytics comes kind of natural.
Awesome. All right. Well, welcome. Thanks for sharing.
Thank you.
All right. So I think for time's sake, we'll move on. So today we have a guest speaker, Will Strouse, who has really helped a lot with keeping me motivated to start and to keep at this tug. So I always appreciate his support and now supporting me by actually speaking here. Will, do you want to talk about yourself?
Sure, I'll jump right into my deck. Let me take over the screen.
And Will is an ambassador, Tableau user group ambassador, and is also the co-lead to the Boston Tug. So he's.
You have my screen?
Oh, I'm sorry. I should stop sharing.
You see it?
Hold
on.
No, try again. There we go. Sorry, my bad. I see your desktop. Okay. There you go. Yep.
I can't see any of the chat notes or any of that kind of stuff. So the guys are gonna check those for me. Feel free to interrupt with questions or place them in the chat.
Yep.
I'm very, very happy to be there today. Thanks for the introduction, Tim. I love the Vet2Viz stories. I like hearing everybody's background. I have a sociology essentially background too. So I went to St. Anselm College. I majored in criminology. I thought I was going to go into criminal profiling, go to the FBI, but I graduated the depth of the recession during a government hiring freeze. So ended up going into corporate loss prevention and really found my niche there. So for the talk today, really what I want to go into, this is about a lot of, it's a pretty small group, but everybody seems to be coming in at different skill levels with different approaches to data analytics and data visualization in this kind of general career path. So my goal here today is to share a little bit of my story, some of the things that have had the most positive impact on my career development. This is very much about me. This is not a recruiting pitch for Tableau or for Amazon Robotics where I work. This is not, I'm not a training or manager expert or career expert, anything like that. I just really think that just like in the Vet2Viz stories, you can gain so much just by hearing other people's paths and taking whatever applies to you away from it, however it impacts you. So a little bit about me personally. So I live in Mount Vernon, New Hampshire, kind of rolling hills leading up to the Monadnock Mountains. That's a picture part of my property there. I'm really into horticulture and plants. It's an orchid on my pasture that I've been actually in the process of making a DatablendsUS on right now. I'm a bird watcher as well. I do a lot of wildlife photography. That's a great blue heron napping a vole on our property. If you didn't know, they eat rodents too, not just stuff in the water. I've told I have a bit of a Boston accent. I have kind of a New England accent, so that does come out from time to time. I try to modulate it in professional settings, but it does come out when arguments get hot. And even though I'm born and raised in New England, I am a big time Steelers fan. I love football. I love the NFL. I grew up in an area where there's basically no college football, so it was all pro football. I know a lot of Southern guys are really into to college football, but big NFL fan. For work, I do data visualization for fun as well. I'm, like Tim said, I'm a Tableau ambassador, a user group ambassador, one of the leads of the Boston Tableau user group. I've had a couple of visit the days. I like posting stuff on Tableau Public. I like generating my own data and creating visualizations from that as opposed to general viz projects. I'm a business intelligence engineer at Amazon Robotics. It's absolutely fascinating work. I work with a super team of like deep advanced analytics people, data scientists. Obviously, we work with super cutting edge technology. I am going to talk to you about a lot about career path. And yes, we are hiring at Amazon Robotics. If you are interested after hearing this and you want to learn about specific roles, I'll leave my contact information. You can reach out to me directly. I don't want to make this like a recruiting pitch for Amazon. It's not really the appropriate space to do that. So again, if you have really specific questions about jobs at Amazon, put those in the chat or contact me afterwards, please. So why am I here? Well, one of the reasons, like I said, is I think sharing your experience and sharing some details about your successes is extremely important. One of my role models, really, and a good friend, Ken Black, he has this great article in his blog on how to help people prove their careers. And one of his big underlying points is just this, is in technical fields, we tend to think, okay, I figured out the secret sauce. I have the secret ingredient and I'm not telling anybody because it's my most valuable asset is the secret. I think totally the opposite. Anybody who's had SQL training knows plagiarism is encouraged. And, that's what I'm doing here. I could not recommend enough checking out Ken's blog, DatablendsUS. He has a few series that are really good. I love his My Tableau Voice articles. He has a lot of really heavy technical stuff. He's a Zen master and an Alteryx ace. He's the kind of smart that makes smart people feel stupid, and super nice and humble guy. And he has a lot of personal stuff on here too, which is really interesting and adds a lot of context. So again, I'm going to be sharing a lot of just people and stuff that I love and hoping that everybody checks it out. So that's one reason I'm here. The other reason I'm here is that I am not a veteran. I didn't qualify for military service, but I come from a military family. So in the top right is a picture of a DC-3, my namesake's namesake. So my great uncle, Bill, was a pilot who flew the hump in World War II. If anybody's not familiar with that, that's a route that went over the Himalayas to avoid Japanese controlled Burma. So incredibly dangerous, risky flying. And in the top left is my grandfather, Alex. Well, his name is Elwood, but he hated that name, so everybody called him Alec. And he was in the 504th paratroopers. And if anybody knows anything about that group, unfortunately, it's not a fun story. It's one of the worst friendly fire incidents in the entire war. So he was a paratrooper unit that basically landed ahead of Patton's invasion of Sicily. And he was one of 5 out of his squad of, I think, 150 that made it through the war. There's some really bad friendly fire incident when they first got there. It was a long trek through Italy. So, you know, my family has a lot of background in military service, particularly my father. So my father, Joseph, I call him a grease gorilla instead of a grease monkey because of the planes he worked on, and I'll talk a little bit about that. So he was stationed mostly for at least all of my life at Westover Air Reserve Base in Chicopee, Massachusetts. That's him coming back from, I want to say, Enduring Freedom. I can't remember. He had about 5 or 6 active duty tours. Worked. I spent a lot of time at Westover. I would, you know, go and hang out with them in the summer. They had the New England air shows there, and I was always just captivated by the size of the C5s. Fighter planes are cool, and I knew a lot about planes. I was kind of that plane nerd that knew every plane and when it was built and the equipment and that kind of stuff. But there was nothing that struck me as much as these giant cargo planes. Scale is just silly. I mean, this is the multi-story scaffolding that they have to erect just to work on the rear ailerons. A little sense of the scale of it here against a couple of F-15s and a C-130. The reason it's so big is because it eats everything. It can haul 2 fully loaded armed Abrams tanks. You could shove 2 stripped A-10s in there, Hueys, Navy platoon boats, crazy stuff. So actually for this meetup, I decided to make a quick visualization for him using some of the data, the aircraft that he's worked on. So in his career, he started out in 1966, I believe. He did four years of active duty, went to school for a couple of years. I think he did a lot of, technical, mechanical things, machine working, mechanics, metal working, that kind of stuff. He started out on the C-141 Star Lifter, early jet lifter, the C-123. If anybody's not familiar with that plane, again, that looks like a small plane here, but that's the plane from the movie Dumbo Drop. If nobody has a reference to that, I mean, that's a big plane. Okay, you could fit an elephant and a bunch of idiots in that plane. A C-130 Hercules, which I think is kind of a personal favorite of the two of us. C-130s, I think, serve in just about every branch. They're incredibly versatile, incredibly tough. Any plane that's just, can fly through a hurricane and take the temperature and the wind speed as it's going through is just, awesome. And then the C5 was, again, just my favorite. And so I created a quick data set. I just looked at some stats. I used a parameter control. If anybody hasn't done these before, this is a great example of a perfectly good functional BizViz. If you had a couple things that you wanted to compare quickly, this is a nice tight one size view. And of the scale of these planes, I can compare tail height. So again, the Galaxy's 65 feet tall at the tip of the tail, a wingspan of over 220 feet. It has a max lift weight of 661,000 pounds. So somewhere in the range of 330 tons. Just crazy, just an absolute crazy thing. And this is one of my favorite things about Tableau, is that I can just jump in and play with the numbers. I like playing with scales and large numbers and things like that. I made this real quick for him. I grabbed the photos in there. Another thing that I'll show in here is like a quick pro tip. Learn how to use background templates. These blue backgrounds and all this stuff, I see a lot of fixed and non-floated dashboards, things like that. This is what this dashboard looks like without the template. So if you ever want to learn how to use background templates, how to develop those, the Flurridge twins, Kevin Flurridge has a ton of great blogs and articles where he goes into depth on using PowerPoint, Figma, and some of these other tools. And that was one of my first big money-making revelations, was when my first, real guru, Dustin Cabral, who I worked with at Staples and then later at a consulting firm, he showed me these background templates that had just totally changed the way that I created visualizations. Let me jump back into the deck here. Okay. So again, just an absolutely stupid big aircraft. I really, really love them, and it's a big reason why I'm here. I just was always interested in the scale of this stuff, and the military's had such a big impact on my life, even though I haven't been in it, that, it's essentially kind of, this is my call to serve, I guess. So again, I'm not sure where everybody's coming with their approach to Tableau, okay? So I'm sure there's a few people here who it's brand new. They've just, if you look at anywhere, Glassdoor, LinkedIn, Google, what industries, where can I make a ton of money? Like what's a great booming industry? Data analytics, big data, data engineering, data architecture. You hear that a lot. Maybe you're already in the field or already using, and you don't use Tableau, and you want to add Tableau to your skill set, or maybe you're like a lot of us and you work for a paycheck. You're here for money, okay? There's nothing wrong with saying that out loud. I don't think that's a faux pas thing to say at all. What I want to help you with today is, if you leverage some of the resources that I'm sharing with, when you go to interview for your next job, or you go to interview for your next promotion, you will make more money. That's why we're here. So real quick, let's play a game. Unmute yourself if you muted it, okay? This is one of my favorite games. It's called Guess the Data. So I'm going to show you a quick, simple visualization and guess what the underlying data is. So here's the first one. Any guesses? These are all military/veteran related.
The number of Marines in this group versus others.
That's a good guess.
I wouldn't. I don't know.
I'll give it to you here. These are the 19 out of the 613 USA Olympians. 17 were veterans and 2 are active duty members. I think there's 1 Marine and 1 active Coast Guard unit. So I get the idea of the game, right? I throw it up, some idea related to this. So that's a good one. Also, this is an appropriate use of a pie chart. I hear a lot of people saying nasty things about pie charts. This is an appropriate use for a pie chart. But this one.
How much the government wastes on a daily basis?
Close. Tim, you should know this one.
Does it have anything to do with cost of aircraft?
The operating
Nice.
cost per aircraft in just 2018. So again, if anybody wants to make that argument as to why the A10 is such an efficient tool, this is a nice chart to show that. Okay, here's the last one. Any guesses?
Walking up the barracks steps after a Tuesday night.
There you go. That would explain the gap there.
Yeah.
Now, so this is my career earnings before and after learning Tableau. Okay, this was the most valuable tool that I added to my tool belt. I started out in general data analytics, doing exception reporting, outlier detection, again, kind of behavioral fraud, retail fraud stuff. And then absolutely my career blew open when I started using Tableau and to investigate much larger scale cases, started creating visualizations for fun, really started getting into data visualization. And it has been absolutely the biggest impact, positive impact on my career. Humble brag. Anybody at Fort Bragg? Anybody go through Fort Bragg? That was a brag joke.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so some of my career tips. Okay, number one, most important tip: if you're going to present yourself as being a user of Tableau and an efficient intermediate, even intermediate user, you should have a Tableau public profile. If you don't have a Tableau public profile, you're a bad person. I don't know a way to say it. Like, go create one. Even if you have one bar chart on there, just go and start and create your portfolio now. Data visualization is a design field. And I don't think anybody would hire a graphic designer, somebody to paint a mural on a building, or even a good landscaper if they didn't have a portfolio. It's a very, very important tool. I reference my own Tableau public profile or other people's Tableau public profiles on an almost weekly basis when I'm interacting with my customers and other people that I work with, saying like, hey, you know what chart type would probably be best here is this. Oh, I've never heard of that. Oh, let me show you an amazing fun example that somebody made on superheroes. And it's very approachable and you can jump into it. You can download the workbooks and play with them. Go make a portfolio. To give yourself a nice running start, a friend of mine, Mark Bradborn, he's runs Sons of Hierarchies, him and another Mark. And he has these great data sets that are, like, so Makeover Monday is really, really great, but it's a random data set every week. The goal is really to remake something that was already there. I like this real world fake data because if you're going to look for a job in human resources or at a call center or maybe in solar panels, something like that, this is the actual data that you will be working with and they will expect you to work with. And it allows you to practice answering those specific business questions before you go into the interview. Mark also has an awesome monthly article. It's called Best of Tableau. So, you know, like the community sometimes can feel like drinking out of a fire hose. You know, everybody's doing something. Everybody's, you know, there's so many blogs, there's so many videos. Mark does a really good job of recapping all the new stuff, you know, some great visit of the days. Really, it's like a nice highlight reel for each month. Absolutely bookmark this page because it's going to point you to some of the best resources in the community. Sarah Bartlett is a Zen master from the UK. She hosts Iron Quest. So if you've heard of Iron Viz, big contest, very, very competitive. The top people go and they compete when it was a live event, like standing on stage in front of 15,000 people trying to create an amazing visualization in 20 minutes. This is kind of, hey, I'm not really ready for that, but let me just get involved with this and let me get involved with the contest. Why is this so cool? Because there's a lot of participation in this. You get to see a lot of other approaches to similar data, similar ideas, a lot of creative people. And she's a fantastic person, fantastic Zen master. And it's a great, her blog, Sarah Loves Data, it's another great resource of just getting inspiration and finding data. If you want something more fun and like off topic that's not a biz and you may be into sports, Sports Viz Sunday. It's another awesome blog. Kate Brown is from Boston as well. Spencer Bach and Simon have been running the group for a while. And Kate's joined in. Kate's a huge golf nerd. Does awesome golf vizzes. This is, again, just you probably have what is going to make your data visualizations on your portfolio really effective is one, your expertise on the subject. And if the thing that you brag that you know the most about is the bullpen in the National League, then go make a baseball viz. If you know the rules of cricket, I mean, good for you. Make a viz to explain it to me because I just can't figure it out. I don't care how many times my coworkers try to explain it and tell me that it's fun. Okay. I hosted Sports Viz Sunday a little while ago. If you want to mix business and sports, we scraped a bunch of data. We got all of the salaries, like the salary cap numbers for each player by position, by team for the last 3 years. So Jeff Plattner from Minnesota and we kind of made the AFC, NFC versions of this, and you can go and check out my profile on the Viz, but essentially we show how each team over the different years has been spending at different position groups and by different individuals. So you can see the teams that are really cap struck by their quarterbacks or teams that are totally underspent on offensive line and make your own judgment. Making the visualizations is great, but you got to show them to people. One of my favorite things is in the community is gaining feedback. You have a lot of people who are willing to take the time to look at your viz and tell you it stinks and why. And there's a lot of people who are really well trained in giving feedback, much better than me just saying that your stuff stinks, right? So there is Michelle Freeman, also from Boston. She's an ambassador. She's a feedback fiend, and she's a Makeover Monday marathoner, which means like she does it all the time. She visits as much as anybody I know. She's a wonderful, wonderful human being on top of that, and does these. You can schedule Viz feedback sessions with her. You just put a quick website there, you set it up. If you'll probably be able to find someone that can look at things for you, but when you can get a pro like that to really critique your work, even if it's, just silly, fun stuff that you're doing, you're going to learn a lot there. I think one of the most important things in improving your skills is getting consistent feedback. I believe very much in deliberate practice. Just doing, bad practice it doesn't matter how much you do it, right? So Michelle's a great resource in the community to really get yourself some feedback. Leverage the community. There are hundreds and hundreds of people just like me, just like Tim, just like Abe, just like Lou, just like Ethan, who are dying to look at your work and tell you how much they like it. They are spending I'm certainly not doing this for the paycheck because there isn't one. And this is just a part of our passion. It's a part of what we do. Use the general expertise. There's a lot of people willing to help you, including that guy who's buried in the crowd there. It's wearing the same hat, actually. Look at that. I gotta change my look, I guess. Look at that. Chubby face, a beard, and a hat. I gotta really mix it up. That's not too good. Okay. So there's some specific questions. I get it all the time when I run into, and I'm talking about getting a job in DataViz. I've seen a lot of lists of typical Tableau questions, like multiple choice questions, trick questions, stuff like that. I think if you understand some fundamentals, you're okay. Just to get started, it really depends. Again, is Tableau just something you're adding to your toolkit so that you can, maybe you're doing really deep data work or deep analytics work and you want to have a better tool to visualize it? Just kind of understand where Tableau is in your work. I'll say some of the most common questions I see is so I have, here's the business question. What's the best chart to fit that? There's a great resource, Andy Kriebel's Visual Vocabulary. Go ahead and just Google Visual Vocabulary, Andy Kriebel. It's a fantastic tool. I don't want to pop it up here because it'll take a little long to load, but essentially he breaks down, I think it's 9 or 12 business questions, concepts change over time, part of whole, distribution, like concepts that will be in your real life business questions. You click on that question, it shows you the visualizations that match it with some details about it. That will save you probably, just that viz will save you $100 on Udemy courses because there's so much information baked into this tight visual, this workbook. Andy Kriebel, Tableau Zen Master, Hall of Famer, just absolute legend. Just anything he does is going to be a great how-to. I like to ask about filter hierarchies as a baseline question. So I'll ask someone, hey, define and differentiate context, quick, and normal filters. And I try to say them out of order of their hierarchy. That's a nice baseline question to say, okay, are you totally new to this and just learned a couple tricks for the interview? Or do you have a deeper understanding of the difference of those? So a context or a data source filter, a normal filter, something that you apply, you drag into the filters and it can apply to multiple pages, or something that you right-clicked on, excluded, right on the sheet. Parameters, just like I showed in the viz before, where I was using the multiple measures and kind of clicking down with those, having a good understanding of parameters. And if you don't know what kind of table calculations can be used in LODs, it's none. That's a trick question. I've seen that on a bunch of interviews and interview questions as just calling out the trick questions before you get to them. Live exercises is what you're going to see in most DatablendsUS interviews now. They're going to ask you to build something. My secret sauce is two things. One, ask a lot of questions. Show your obsession with the customer in the interview. And even if you might be going down the wrong path, like you can't go down the wrong path if the focus of your visualization is your customer, right? So if you can't build an interactive dashboard, you probably shouldn't be applying for the Tableau job anyway, right? Stories, I love using stories. Those are great. It's a nice add to your skill set. People say, oh, there's so many tricks on how to get stuff from Tableau into PowerPoint or stuff from PowerPoint into Tableau. It's like, they made stories. It's essentially the same thing. And, a few other questions there, but these are the most common ones that I'll see in terms of what you'll get in an interview. If any of those questions were really confusing to you that you just saw and you were kind of Googling the answer on the side as I was talking, right? Tableau Tim is my favorite YouTube vlogger in terms of quick how-tos, new functionalities. He's awesome. He's a Zen master as well. It's a great video blog. And I can't recommend it enough. There's so many quick solutions in here. He's a wonderful presenter and just great stuff. Another great tip is go watch some other tugs. Okay, you're going to see a ton of people like myself who are much more experienced, do way cooler stuff than I do, presenting for other tugs. How-to videos, again, these are all free resources. They're out there. You don't have to pay for a course fee. This is just on YouTube. If it's free, leverage it, use it. That's what it's there for.
Hey, well, quick question. Next slide. I was going to ask something about that. But yeah, so since a lot of people here might be just starting getting analytics and Tableaus, kind of from personal experience, when I was looking into what certificate should I get and trying to go certificate crazy, does that matter? But you're
start with your portfolio first. Start with building your portfolio first, getting your baseline skills down. I say that because you don't go and pay for courses to then pay to take the certification test to then get the piece of paper and then go at the end of it, you don't have a portfolio. That makes no sense to me at all, right? Start with building up some of a portfolio. You're probably going to have opportunities within your companies where they want you to get the certification. So ask your manager or ask someone in your company and they'll probably pay for it. Or they'll pay for a certification prep course, or they'll pay that fee to get in there. I do absolutely think that the certifications are valuable. I can't remember how long I was into my career until I got certified. It might have been as much as 3 or 4 years until I actually went and got certified. And in 2 of those, I was really using Tableau a lot, presenting at tugs, that kind of stuff. So yes, I absolutely think that the certifications are worth the money. If you do have to pay out of pocket, you'll definitely make that up in a difference of salary. And if you do have these certifications or multiple certifications, make sure you talk about it in your interview, because I guarantee you not every candidate is going to have those. But like I said, I think, in my personal opinion, having the certification and no portfolio shows me that you're a good test taker. And that's just my opinion on it. As I am sure that all of you have run into in your professional career, having a mentor is incredibly valuable. Being a mentor is incredibly valuable. I think I mentor a few people, specifically in DatablendsUS, and I learn as much from them as any of the wisdom that I partake. My mentorship style is very much just like I'm doing right now. I just kind of talk about my story and my deal. And if any of that rings true with you, then great. If not, we all move on together. So don't just think that, hey, I'm new into this field, so I need to find a mentor. Become one as well. It'll help you develop your skills. And don't just find one mentor. So Paul Bannow is from the UK as well. He works for Royal Bank of Scotland. He's a former Zen master. He has a YouTube channel called Productivity Ace. He has awesome videos. The accent is lovely as well. Like I think it's just more pleasing with the English accent as he's kind of rolling through everything. But Paul's a great guy. He's really fun. Does these fantastic videos on all manner of kind of corporate culture and things that, particularly if you're transitioning from the military culture to a corporate culture, these are going to be a lot of helpful things for you, because there are going to be more opportunities for you to challenge your bosses than I guarantee there were when you were back in basics. So wasn't a lot of coaching up, I'm sure, at that point, right? He has great professional content, much more of an expert on the subject than I am. One of my favorite things he ever did is he wrote this article a while back about accelerating your career by not just having a mentor. Find yourself your own board of directors. Okay, this is a really a big tip that accelerated my career, because I was really treating one person that I was working with who had a personal interest in how my career developed, like for themselves, guiding most of my decisions. That's not really a fair and balanced, viewpoint, and really drove a lot of my early decisions. Get a few people, definitely find some people who are not veterans or not active service member. Find somebody outside of your age bracket. Certainly someone younger than you as well. There are a lot of people, a lot of people who, Kate Brown, who had showed earlier, super expert, like off the charts expert. And she has one of her mentors, I think, is like 20 years younger than her. And she learns a lot from him, and he learns a lot from her. And it's a very valuable relationship. Find someone like me. I might come off as a nice guy now, but I'm pretty critical when I get into DatablendsUS feedback. I try to be really direct. I don't like lip service, talking around things. You can't be find a cheerleader too. You can find someone who's just going to love you because they love you, and it's nice to have that positive support. But really, just formalize the people that are influencing you, and use the community to do that. Again, find people on Twitter. Go to the ambassadors page. Go to the ambassadors page on Tableau. Find the contact information of everybody on there and reach out to them. I guarantee you almost all of them will reply and engage with you. If you're specifically looking to become a mentor or mentee in the data visualization space, there is a mentorship program, one of many that you can sign up for. It's #DataFam mentorship. So you can become a mentor, you can become a mentee. I've leveraged this program as a mentor, and like I said, if you're trying to find someone who doesn't work with you or wasn't like a former CO or something like that, you want to find somebody really unbiased who's just there to help you because they're passionate about data visualization and helping this industry. This is a great place to go. So, as much as I love Tableau and as much time as I spend making my visualizations look engaging and be interactive, you absolutely have to have base understanding of some coding language. If you don't have SQL knowledge, I think that's a really good basic place to start. It's something that I've had to get back into. So I had programs like ETL programs like Tableau Prep and Alteryx and things that I used as a consultant. And when I was at my previous corporate gig, that really my SQL, like my coding skills, regressed over that time because I was using the tool so much. And then when I jumped back into it, I realized how much I didn't remember and have had to really ramp up. advanced analytics, statistics, Python, R, you really want to develop a complete understanding in a professional sense of what data it is that you're visualizing. Because as you move up, like, the position that I'm in now is, I mean, we are a Swiss Army knife of data. Our role is expected to do the data, like some data architecture and engineering, data quality validation. We're expected to build a lot of the create queries and create tables for other people to use, really focusing on efficiency and speed and obviously accuracy. And then also do the data visualization and do the deep analytics on performance in that area and recommend changes. So as you move up, you're going to have, if you imagine your skill set, as you're moving up, if you're a T, so you have a bunch of things that you put on your resume, but there's maybe only one of them that you have a really deep level of expertise in, you're going to find that there's a ceiling for you. So kind of expanding your depth of expertise as you go. If you're starting in here with focusing on Tableau, don't cheat the data. I mean, really understand how the underlying data is formatted, how you can learn to work with that. Because, I use the metaphor here. So having the Viz and no data is like a castle made of sand, right? It looks great, but it's going to be gone the next day. So these are not specific job postings. These are some publicly available resources and links from Amazon to that point. So that we do have a 9-month software engineering academy that you could sign up for. It's really efficient program. I can't read, I forgot her name right there. She runs the program. Sorry, I should have put that on my notes. We also have a career choice center, essentially like a paid internship program, and then a technical expert apprenticeship program at the bottom, which is certainly military focused. A lot of people or military people go through there. And these are all really like from zero to coding, from zero to software engineering, from zero to data architecture. These are really, really positive programs. Again, if you're way past that, if you're already, a Swiss Army knife and you have super data skills, and maybe you're just trying to polish up your Tableau skills, I'll give you my contact information at the end. So I'll break it in now here if there's anybody that's questions or comments, and we can kind of open it up. I'd like to open it up for if people have comments, people are running into specific challenges as they develop their career. Dumb questions, I love dumb questions if you have them, something that you think is a dumb question about Tableau or about DataViz, but I'd really like to open it up and hear from the group or hear from people as to where they are in their career journey with Tableau.
I'll just messaging Abe on LinkedIn right now, but I just told him I took a break this week from programming and started dabbling in Tableau. And I didn't realize there was a Tableau public until right now. So I'll set up my account as we're going this. But as I was peeking on some of y'all's profiles, I noticed there was interactive resumes. And actually, that was like the first project I started doing this week was doing that. And I thought it was pretty cool. And then I started looking at some of, like I said, some of you guys and gals profiles, and it's beyond belief the reach some of these businesses have.
And so the interactive resume, that's a great note. If you want a good example, that one of my favorites is Lindsay Betzenhall. She's a Zen master and a Steelers fan from Pennsylvania. And she has this awesome interactive resume. Not only is it beautiful, but there's some little personal things in there. Like she even has this little section on, here's some of my favorite chart types. And she's kind of famously known for really liking spicy food. So there's a bar chart, and she talks about how she likes bar charts. And when you look at it, it's the or whatever the spicy rating is for different peppers is the underlying data and things like that. So it's a nice way. That's what I like about the profile is you're only going to build this stuff if you're super interested in it. That's how I am, right? So you have a resume and then you build some things that you're super interested in. So you can talk passionately and in depth about whatever that beautiful visualization that you made was. That's what we're looking for, right? Like that's what people are looking to hire. Now, I'm in the supply chain field now, and I still find myself getting super passionate about the DatablendsUS projects that I'm working on there because of how much better I understand them as I've grown with the company. So it's like a nice shortcut to that is you can show your potential employer, show someone, you know, as you're going for hopefully for a promotion, that you really care. Not only do you care enough to do this stuff during the week when you're getting paid for it, but you're really focusing on developing your skills, and you can talk in depth about anything on your profile.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think you hit it the nail on the head right there, Will. To me, like everybody has a passion, and there's within that passion, regards to your passion, there's data on it. It's just how you tell that story. That's how, like,
Exactly.
the biggest hurdle I did transforming from the military to the data field.
Absolutely. Who else? Who's got a question or a comment? Anybody running into, anybody have an interview coming up, or anybody have an idea for a public viz that they want to go start now?
I actually do.
What's the idea?
So I am, so I just started doing jujitsu again. So I am like videotaping all of my roles that I'm doing. And Matt Bratton, he's another like big data guy. He helped me get set up like an Excel spreadsheet of like different positions and attacks and defense in jujitsu. So what I want to do is kind of like visualize that, but make it like, you know, make it like a cool looking viz, like the ones you see in Iron Viz. So that's just something that I'm kind of like still recording and like still like collecting the data and stuff. But I should be done with that in like a month or so once I think I have enough data.
Remember not to pick a fight with Abe at the next conference. I got that checked. Check that one off. I see
I don't know.
there, Christine. Did you mean you got a raised hand there?
What was that? Kind of broke up.
I see a raised hand, Christine.
Christine.
I wanted to say, I have a big interest in criminology too, because I got that criminal and social justice degree. And so I thought if I did crime stats, that would be one way to show off the criminology and be able to propose an actionable outcome, like when the crime stats get too high. Like if I said there were so many hijackings in Chicago, let's go ahead and roll out the lights on the street, you know, so we're really bright at night.
So there's a great YouTube video I remember a little while ago on in Los Angeles. They were using data analytics and data visualization of reported crimes to sort of do predictive analysis on their scheduling. I've done a few things related to crime. So having an outcome on your public profile is not always necessary, but you just want to make sure you have a complete story. So the story doesn't have to be, hey, Massachusetts Department of Corrections, here's how I'm going to help you reduce the number of prisoners that you have, which is a big goal of every prison system. But you just want to try to tell a complete story. So this was a fun one I did on criminal justice as well. So this is, again, playing with just a simple visualization, playing with really, really big numbers. One of the first things that inspired me was a video, and it was talking about really big numbers. And they had on there, like, you hear 1 billion and 5 billion and 1 trillion and all these numbers, and we really lose grasp of how stupidly big, how much money $1 trillion is. Like this, it's something you can't even comprehend, right? So one of the things I did here, this is a bar chart showing the largest accounting fraud scandals, like white collar crime in American history. And so what you're seeing there on the left is the granddaddy. That's $74 billion for Enron, okay? And I'm comparing this to the lifetime earnings of the average American, okay? So there's Enron, Madoff, Lehman Brothers, not even halfway down. Okay, we just passed the GDP of Puerto Rico. And then you see, you know, some other large scandals, Mac, Fannie Mac, AIG, waste management. And then down here at the bottom, there's $1.7 million, the average lifetime earnings of an American. So this was it was kind of designed to be a mobile viz, but again, just a simple bar chart playing with it, and I'll show you what this looks like in a full image. Again, just playing with the scale. So if you don't have to necessarily do a dissertation on a huge topic and boil it all down and make one of these giant, beautiful infographics that you see for Iron Viz. Do something quick and dirty like this. It's just fun. I have done serious topics related to criminology. One of the first large research projects that I did related to Tableau was on this. So there was found a data set that basically had every official and recorded execution in the United States, state execution since Jamestown, going way, 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 way back. And anybody who's a lot of vets will see this trend really quickly. And this is one that I called out here. See these dips where I put the blue lines in there, and all of a sudden you see these dips in the number of executions. That was during American wars. And it was way back in the day, that was a pretty easy choice, right? Like you get the chair, or you could go to the front lines. And you know, that was World War I and World War II, and there was some of that. Also, more in World War II, it was just about a lack of manpower. You know, and I just approached the topic generally. Why? What were the crimes that were being committed? Most of it was murder, which, you know, some people will have one moral stance or another on. I don't think people's moral stance, I hope, has certainly changed on the hundreds of people that were executed because they were aiding runaway slaves, or people who were executed being from Massachusetts for witchcraft. That was all included in the data. A weird thing here, like the vast majority of executions happen on Fridays, which kind of sucks. That makes for a long week, I think. And this was one of the more interesting, like really the reason I started it was because of this event right here. So this was the largest execution, like public execution in US history. And I think it was something like 60 Native Americans were all hung on the same day in what was at then the Dakota Territory. It could have been over 300 because of a raid, but Abraham Lincoln pardoned almost all of them. So I had just heard this one story and then ended up researching the whole thing. So you can cover really serious topics that are of your personal interest and create a visualization for them, again, without necessarily having to have an academic or professional outcome for them. I use this space, like I use my portfolio to show examples of things. Like, oh, you know, we have 3 variables that we want to declare. Oh, we should use a ternary plot. What's a ternary plot? Oh, let me show you one that I made of my property. And I totally understand the underlying data. It's visually engaging. I can talk to it in enough detail that I can help my customer understand why I think this is the best chart. Not only is it the best chart because I say so, it's the best chart because they agree that I'm an expert after seeing the work that I've done. So again, if you really want to help yourself in your career and you think that Tableau is going to be a big part of your career, you have to have a public profile. Do I have fraud ones in here? I thought I had another. Oh, this was actually when I was working in a fraud call center. We needed call center agents to review outliers for online gift card sales, you know, anonymous currency that you sell online. Who would ever think someone would steal that, right? So I couldn't get them to really interact with the scatter plot I made. So I flipped it upside down. I used icons as to what time of day it was being purchased for, because we had to separate the different trends for weekend behavior versus weekday behavior, evening behavior versus morning behavior. And I made it look like the game Space Invaders. So you could go in, check the outlier. Okay, this is a Red Lobster gift card for $300. And somebody, you know, like, okay, well, nobody's buying that. I don't have to worry about that. I can, you know, just exclude this from the viz. And then it resets the scatter. And essentially you can go in here and just keep playing and seeing the trends and just keep peeling the onion and until you start to find outliers. This is one of my favorite functionalities of Tableau, is just playing what's that. When I was doing outlier detection, when I was doing fraud analytics, they weren't like, we had to come up with the patterns. So you just throw this stuff up there, you get yourself in a dark room with a couple people and we sit there peeling away at the onion, and we found all these cool fraud cases. And so I think that's the last fraud example that I have. Yeah, Chrissy, if you are interested in kind of touching back into your roots of criminal justice and things like that, look at retail loss prevention. Look at loss prevention as a career path, and there's your experience should be invaluable there.
Thank you. I actually did loss prevention for TJ Maxx. I didn't last long. I felt like a guy. I did, and I almost got a PhD in psychology. So I really just enjoy learning. So that's why I got into the field. Yeah, almost, but I didn't. I'm suing the school now. Hopefully I won't have to pay him any money. But the military can't use the school anymore. The GI Bill won't pay for a certain amount of schools that the Department of Education said these people might be predatory lenders. These people might be deceiving people. So my school was on there, so now I'm suing them.
Make a viz out of it.
Really? Oh,
Right.
Thanks. Okay, let's see.
All right, great. Thanks, Will. In the interest of time, we only have about 14 minutes left. So I think right now, Ethan, did you want to take over? Do you want me to share my screen?
Thank you.
Yeah, if you could share, that'd be great.
Yep. Okay. Alright,
Perfect. Well, for all of our guest speakers, we like to do something a little special. Here at military, there's a lot of traditions, and one of those is a military challenge coin. So we actually have produced these, and we're going to be giving them out to our speakers. So Will, you're the second recipient of our challenge coin.
Got mine right there.
Yeah, we'll be sending this out to you. Probably get with Tim or I to get your address, and then I'll mail it out to you. I wish we could give it to you in person, but it's just the world we live in. So
yeah, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Again. You know, I was in fifth for military service, and I really appreciate everyone that does. And I also, you know, I like to reiterate that don't let yourself be pigeonholed as a vet. You're a lot more than that. And your public profile is a place to do that. I'm sure you're proud of your service. I'm sure you're proud of those stuff that you've done, and certainly do some visualizations, you know, related to that. But I'm an open resource. You have my contact information there at the end. I thank you guys humbly so much. It's a pleasure to help.
Right.
perfect. Thank you so much, Will. Appreciate it.
And Will, just interesting note, my grandfather was stationed in India helping those DC-3s getting over the hump. So maybe they knew each other. He worked with the early radar systems over there.
Wild stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, cool. All right, awesome. So I know one thing on the agenda that I actually don't think we have any slides for was how we can better serve. So if you guys have any ideas about how we can better serve you guys, and maybe we're actually just testing time slots too. Last time we had it at 5 p.m. Eastern on a Thursday. This time we tried a Wednesday at 6 p.m. Eastern. And we're just kind of playing around with that. So if you guys have any idea about like how we can, when maybe like would be a better time, like a lot of them are during the workday, and maybe that's, you could probably find an excuse to actually, you know, sit at a tug during work because it's semi-work related, you know. So maybe we'll try that one time.
And like Will said, we'll probably do a viz on all the times we're testing.
Yeah, this one I gotta say, you know, a little disappointed with the amount of people that showed up, but you know, we'll try harder. And we're asking you guys to spread the word as well. Tell everyone. I really feel like we're going to do good for the veteran community. And I did want to talk about one thing. So I said that we wanted to work with veteran non-profits and help them spread their awareness and their mission. So I'm actually pretty big into cycling, and I went to the Armed Forces Cycling Challenge here in the DC area, and I discovered a team called Project Echelon. And they're not just a cycling team. They're actually most cycling teams are actually connected to some sort of organization. And this one's called, it's the namesake, so Project Echelon. And what they do, they empower veterans, specifically with mental disabilities, and using cycling and other sports. I think they do swimming, and one person is actually pursuing like professional wrestling, like the WWE type of stuff. And what they do, I'll just share their website here. They will provide, if you don't have the means, like monetary means to purchase a bike, they'll actually give you a free bike. And it's not like your Huffy from Walmart. It's like a really good Argon 18 bike. It's a really good. So we're talking with so when I saw them at the event, I actually reached out to them, and Eric Hill, who I just saw race that day, he reached out to me. He responded, and so we're in talks, and he's very excited to work with this group, and we're talking about where we can get data. They're really in the preliminary stages of data collection, because they're just a nonprofit. These people they don't ride for money, they ride for it's completely voluntary for them. And every member of the team does mentoring, so they are assigned a few veterans and help them out with their journey for therapy through cycling. So I think that's a really cool. I'm kind of biased because I love cycling, but I'm really excited to work with them and create like a visualization for them that we will give them for free, and then they can use it to however they like. So yeah, so that's an example of one of the projects that we would like to work on. But we're also looking for ideas. If you guys have an idea of a veterans organization, we'll probably kind of shut, not avoid, but like I think like Wounded Warriors probably has their own data analysts and things like that. So the smaller nonprofits, I think we'll focus on. So, but other than that, let's see. Hopefully I can get my screen back up. Yep. Anybody? So, oh yeah. Ethan, did you want to talk about this?
Yeah, I could touch base on this too. So we are excited. We have kind of 5 free books that we wanted to give out to everybody here at the event. So what we're going to do, we're going to take the attendees list and we're going to randomly choose certain individuals. And then we'll be emailing you this, which is the latest book. If you're familiar with Ryan Sleeper, he's written 3 books now. I had the pleasure of being the technical review for this one. So I am really excited to see it finally published. But it just came out probably about a month ago. So yeah, I'll be reaching out and we'll be giving away 5 of these. So looking forward to reaching out to you guys individually.
Awesome. And that's basically anyone that
if you don't get a free one, you should still go buy one because Ryan Sleeper's awesome. Yeah. Ethan's, work with it personally, but he's someone that I followed like all through my career. super technically advanced, a lot of custom created images and things that he works into his viz. It's another one of those profiles that you just go check out Ryan Sleeper's public profile. It puts mine to absolute shame.
So speaking about public profiles, so I actually have his first book. I think it's his first book. The what is it called? I have it back here. Practical Tableau. And what I did was that I went through every single exercise within the book and I recreated it. I followed it along and then I uploaded it to the profile and then shared it on Twitter and tagged Ryan on it. And then he eventually took notice of that and he reached out to me. So now I kind of have a rapport with him. And correct me if I'm wrong, Ethan, but is that how you ended up reaching out to me originally?
Yeah, to be honest. Yeah, we were talking one day and he's like, yeah, there was a guy, his name's Tim. He runs this veterans group. You should reach out and see like if there's anything we can do to support. And I was like, yeah, sure. And here I am.
Yeah. He just reached out. I mean, Ethan, yeah, he reached out to me and thought like, you know, he can hand out some free books or whatever, but eventually became a co-lead and it's been magical ever since. So but no, seriously, if I hadn't done that, Ethan probably wouldn't have come along, and then we may not be here right now. So
yeah, it's just a great community. It's a small niche community. I mean, anything in Tableau, anything in data, really. I mean, it's just so niche. And you know, us being veterans and advocates, and you know, having family members that served, it's just even more niche. So yeah, we're all here to support each other, and if there's anything we can do to support you guys, definitely feel free to reach out. Any of us are willing to help, seriously.
Anyone else have anything? All right.
Cool. All right. Well, thanks, guys. We really appreciate it coming. Will, thanks again. It was awesome. Man.
Thank you so much, Will. Yep.
Thanks.
And spread the word, guys. Spread the word.
Thanks, everyone.
All right, everyone. Thanks. We'll see you. Bye.
Bye.
Hey, you.